we saw the UN basically vote against recognizing it and vote against America. And that brought me back to thinking about that, the prophecy that you wrote, talking about how America was going to be kind of a light to the world. And it was going to actually, and you specifically mentioned Europe and being able to reach to Europe and change that culture as well. So we're starting to see that actually happen, which is exciting.
Yeah, again, the way America goes, the rest of the world goes. I get emails from all over the world now from people are saying, hey, what about my country? What about Australia? What about New Zealand? Stuff like that. And, again, that I actually point people back to your video that we did with Melissa on the generational thing, because that's a huge plus on how to take back your country. Mm-hmm. That's a teaching on how to take back your country. So if someone's out there listening and you want to take back your country, go listen to the Sharpening Report. Look up Mark Taylor, Melissa Leggett on generational curses, and we show you how to repent on behalf of the people in the land in order to take back your country. That's very important. So, again, it's not that someone emailed me from, I think, the UK the other day over the same thing, and I sent them right straight to the Sharpening Report. It's like, look, go there, listen to this. This is how you take back your country. Now that we've taken care of this thing on a national level here in America, it's dropping back down to a state level now, which is what you're going to see. You're seeing California getting devastated right now. I think somebody's trying to get their attention out there right now. I think California's going to have another chance here. I really do. I was this close from prophesying that California was going to go red for the first time in Trump, and I'm not so sure that it didn't go red. Because what the Lord's been showing me with this whole electoral process, if it's okay, we move in that direction.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that this whole electoral process, one of the things that we got to start praying for is the voter fraud to be exposed and dealt with. It's got to be dealt with before the midterms. Ask for a paper ballot. That is the whole thing. If you can vote with a paper ballot, vote with a paper ballot. George Soros owns most of the computer software. The machines. The machines are getting hacked. I mean, everybody knows this now. But these blue states and blue zones, what the Lord has been showing me, we don't have as many as we think we do. And most of these senators and congressmen that have been there for 30 years up there in Congress are not supposed to be there. They're there because the office was stolen. These people out here in California that keep hanging on, they're there because the office was stolen. So if I think they're going to have one more opportunity here, California is, through this indictment process, is going to take a lot of people down. And I got a feeling there's a lot of people in California and their leadership is going to go down. So the people out there are going to be able to rise up and put some people in place. So we need to be praying for California because they know that if California ever goes red, forget it. Democrats are done. And you're not going to see another Democrat in the White House for years anyway. I can tell you that right now. But the next two big ones are Florida and Texas. Florida and Texas are the next two biggest electoral college votes in the country. And those two states are under direct attack right now. I'm in Florida. They're bringing in 500,000 to 1 million Puerto Ricans, calling it a humanitarian effort from the hurricane, which is a bunch of garbage. All they want is the votes. And some of them now are registering. They're even registering Mexicans as Puerto Ricans here in the state of Florida, trying to again, illegally get these people voting. So you've got California that's been under assault for many years. But now you're going to see Texas, and now Florida's getting ramped up because they don't want Florida being a swing state anymore. And the same thing with Texas. So we got to be praying for that, and we got to get down to our specific prayers of repentance on these states so that we can take back the land. But a prime example was Obama did not win that second term. That second term was stolen. So that's why when people say, "Well, America's under judgment because they voted Obama in," no, they didn't. That office was stolen. God allowed it, because we needed another 4 years of that garbage so that people would get a righteous anger and say enough's enough, which is where we're at right now. But that's my case in point, is that he wasn't even supposed to be in office. Most of these people do not even belong there right now.
Well, what do you think if California doesn't turn it around? What does that even look like? What if they don't repent and come back? They get sunk into the ocean? Do you have any idea what that looks like?
No, honestly, I think we've got people out there praying right now. Like Melissa's leading one group right now, and so is the Strike Force of Prayer, which I know you're familiar with out there. Our groups out there on the West Coast, and they're repenting on that behalf of the land and the people and the state. So we've got good people out there, but I think that California. I'm not so sure. Again, I'm just not so sure that Trump didn't win California because there was so much voter fraud out there. Nobody's ever going to know the truth unless they really went and investigated it. So if that was the case, then again, how can God hold a state accountable when it was stolen. You see my point?
Yeah.
So I mean, so that's why they may be given another chance through this indictment process that's coming. You know what I mean? So God's going to rectify what happened. Hey, you guys did. I see you voted in the right directions. I see you're repenting on behalf of the land. I see you're praying. So now I'm going to give you another opportunity here. I'm going to remove these guys out of office so you can get some righteous people in there.
Yeah.
But they've got to take care of the voter fraud first, because if they don't, it's not going to do any good.
Yeah, and you're talking about all these big changes, and some people just like to talk the talk and then they don't actually do anything. But you mentioned a couple of ministries that you're working with to head up the prayer revival. Talk a little bit more about those, and especially how people can be involved with that.
You know, it's free to sign up. You know, I get emails all the time. Hey, I want to get involved in the army of God. What can I do to help? Well, the prayer calls are the one thing that you can do. They're for free. There's 3 places you can go. You can go to marycolbert.us, and that's my co-author, and they can choose a prayer call in their state, or if they don't have one in their state, start one. We're looking to ramp up this thing. We're looking to really kick it up. We want one in every state. I don't care if a state has already got one. If we got 10 or 15 calls going in each state, the more the better. But the other 2 that we work with is Melissa Leggett, my head intercessor, which has been on your program twice. Hers is rockinthewestcoastprayergroup.com. And then Michael Ortega is doing the strikeforceofprayer.com. So people can go there and they can sign up for free. You can go to their websites and just get on the call. It doesn't cost you anything, folks. Get involved. These guys are doing a dynamic work out there right now. I'm really proud of these guys, man. They're taking some ground out there. They really are.
Just in case someone doesn't know, what is a prayer call? What do you do? Just sit there and listen to someone pray?
Yeah, you know, I think Strike Force of Prayer's got about over 200 people right now on the prayer call every day. I think they're up to 2 or 3 days a week they're praying now, and I think Melissa's up to 2 or 3 days a week praying now. So Melissa's group is growing as well. Wow. You know, back during the election when Mary just had the one call, we had 10,000 people on the line at one time.
Holy crap!
Yeah, I mean it was a lot of people, and I mean so we have to mute the call, and then whoever was praying for that 15 minutes, they would have the code, and they would come in, and of course they would be doing the praying. That's all you would really hear. It's the same thing with these guys. Now these guys have different people praying at times, so just you can go in, get involved, make the call, man. I mean it's a phone call. I mean it's free. Yeah. I mean there's no excuses, really.
No excuses. We got a good story coming up on the spiritual stories. If you guys haven't watched the spiritual stories yet, make sure you tune into them because they're really fascinating. But we have a story that Mark shared with us a couple months ago about him on a prayer call one time, and he had a gun out. Let's just put it that way, and we'll save the suspense for you guys. But hey, if he can wrangle it with a gun, then you guys can handle it. The prayer call. It's definitely something to tune into. As we are coming up here about 15 or so minutes, what are a couple things that we didn't cover that that's been on your heart?
Probably the 5 presidents the Lord's been dealing with me on. When the 5 presidents went out to Hurricane Harvey for that Hurricane Harvey relief, they used that as a platform. They could care less about the relief efforts for the people. They used that as a platform to attack our sitting president. And the Lord started dealing with me about a week before that it actually happened, and that was just like the catalyst or the straw that broke the camel's back when they did that. And I kept hearing the Lord say, 2 will be taken and 3 will be shaken. And I was like, okay, Lord. And he says, because God's going to remove 2 of those presidents off the face of the earth. And 3 of those presidents will be shaken. And it's through this indictment process that I think people are going to start to find out exactly what these guys were into. And you're going to see, I know Obama's going to go to prison. He'll be charged with treason because I wrote a prophetic word saying that he would be. That was back in 2015. I wrote that one, that he would be ripped and stripped of the presidency. And a lot of people thought that he would be impeached. That's not what I felt. I felt it would be after the fact he would be charged with treason and end up going to prison. So he will end up, I believe, will be going to prison. I believe Bill Clinton will also probably end up going to prison, possibly. George Bush, it's going to be close. Because when people find out what he was into, he was the silent one. If you ever noticed, he was the silent one out of those 3, and he didn't really say anything for the entire 8 years that Obama was in office. And then all of a sudden, Hurricane Harvey comes out, or Trump's in office. Now he comes crawling out of his cave and he starts, running his mouth, saying stuff against Trump. And it's like, you just, it was amazing because when I sat there and watched him in an interview one time on a talk show, Bush 43. And he said, I don't like talking about a sitting president. I'm not going to make any comments, about Obama. Now, all of a sudden, he comes out and he's talking about Donald Trump because again, the enemy's timeline has been denied by the Most High God. These guys are not happy. They had an agenda for 2021 or 2020, 2022, somewhere in there, that they were going to have America captive through Islamization of America, with Islam. They would hold it captive by stripping us of our guns, our rights, and it would have been handed over to the New World Order at that point. And every bit of that has been derailed, every bit of it. And they are in full-blown panic mode, and they don't know how to get it back. They're not going to get it back. The New World Order, we beat them back in World War I and World War II. We're going to do it again now. And through this indictment process that you're seeing going on, you're going to see a whole new dynamic come out of this, man. You really are. But those 5 presidents, though, 2 will be taken, 3 will be shaken. And the first one that goes will be, I believe, a sign that the New World Order will die. The second one that God takes, it will be a sign that those who come against Israel but call themselves Christians will not be tolerated. Because, he was a Palestinian sympathizer, basically, always has been. And there's been a lot of stuff that these guys have been into that we don't know that will come to public light, basically.
This video belongs to lordsprophecy.com. Please visit our website for more update. lordsprophecy.com. Spelling LORDS prophecy.com. Thanks for your support.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. And guys, if you're still holding on to that right-left paradigm, you're still holding on to it's conservatives versus liberals, let it go, man.
No.
You gotta let it go.
No.
They're all part of the same system.
Yep.
It's now nationalist versus New World Order, globalist. That's what it's all about. Do you want to see your country succeed? Do you believe that it can in the free market? Do you believe in that, or do you want it controlled? And do you want the enemy to move in and move us towards the beginning of Revelation, where everything is a mess? It's the one that's probably the thing I get most frustrated with. People still are like, the left is crazy, the right is good, or the right is crazy, and it's like,
the right's just as bad in some cases, man, and you're fixing to find that out. I mean, you're fixing to find out everything that Bush 43 was into.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling people that right now. Bush 41 made no bones about the fact that he was New World Order. He spoke openly about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the right versus left thing, this 2-party system, that stuff's over with, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Republicans are just as corrupt as the Democrats. They're just better at hiding it, is all.
Yeah.
So it's globalism versus patriotism is what I tell people.
Yeah, definitely. We have this one blog. It's called Right Wing Watch that loves to every time I have you on the show, they like to take a segment of it. So listen, Right Wing Watch. Hey, we're watching the right wing too, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, those guys are all over me constantly. Right Wing Watches.
Oh yeah, they are a lovely group of people, and we will pray for them as well. So if you're watching, but
we love them. We love them.
Yeah. All right, so because you talk about the 5 presidents that are going down, and then you also said that there was 3 judges going down. 5 judges.
5 judges going down.
Wasn't it 3 last time we talked?
No, it was. Originally, the Lord told me 3 judges were going to be removed. Okay. I prophesied that, and then I got another prophetic word where the Lord was saying, "No, Mark, now it's going to be 5. One's going to die." And that 2 months later is when Scalia died. Mm-hmm. One's going to retire, and 3 would be caught in a scandal. So, of course, Scalia died. That's been replaced by Gorsuch now. That President Trump did. The one has yet to retire, and the 3 have been yet to be caught in a scandal. Now, here's the strange thing now about the 3. Now, notice that it's 5 presidents and 5 judges. Now, I still have not put those 2 together yet, and I'm sure some of these viewers out here, this will be a good equation for these guys. They can figure it out and then type in and see if they got any prophetic things coming to them about the 5 and 5. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that I woke up the other morning, and I prophesied that the 5 judges a year back before Scalia died. So I mean, that was before Trump was even in office, and it didn't even dawn on me what I was saying, Sam. Honestly, about 3 would be caught in a scandal, and about 2 weeks ago I woke up and I heard the Lord say, "Mark, what if these 3 judges are part of the indictments?" And I went, "Oh my gosh." It didn't even dawn on me.
Yeah.
It really didn't, because I have been told there's pedophilia on that court.
Oh yeah.
Now, whether it's true or not, I don't know. I got it from a very reliable source. Let's just say that. So that could be. And now, if you put all these other indictments aside, I mean, what are we up to? 10,000 or something like that? I don't know. It was a crazy number. Last number I heard. Yeah, it's hard to vet anything.
Yeah.
But if you put all these other indictments aside, Hillary, Obama, the presidents, just put them all aside. If you remove 3 Supreme Court justices through indictments, what do you think is going to happen in this country? I mean, this is going to get hot. I mean, and all this stuff I believe is going to go down is going to probably start in February, and we're going to rock and roll for 2 or 3 months probably. So I was on the Jim Baker show when I did an interview, and I was telling them, when they start arresting these people, we need to start praying now. That was the third objective I released, because we can mitigate, as the army of God, some of this civil unrest that I believe could take place. I'm not saying it will, because I don't want to speak that in the atmosphere, but as the army of God, we can mitigate that by praying against this civil unrest, and we've been praying ever since then for that. Now, if it is the month of February when they really, because they're already taking people down, you're just not hearing about it. But it's the big fish, like the Obamas and the Clintons and Soros. Those are the ones. But if you notice, the executive order that Donald Trump signed on December 21st was brilliant. He beat him to the punch, brother. It was brilliant, because Greg Hunter just did a huge thing. I just released it on my Facebook page where he was talking about it, went in depth on the executive order, where he beat them to the punch because they were trying to take America down financially. But he beat them to the punch, signed this executive order where he can confiscate boats, all the assets, all the monies. So when you take the money, the protesters go home. These guys aren't going to protest unless you're paying them. So if they're confiscating the monies, like from Soros and this kind of stuff, they're not going to have the money to go out there and protest. Plus, if it is in the month of February, that's usually one of the coldest months of the year in some parts of the U.S., which will keep them off the street as well. So we just need to be praying, that when the big stuff starts to go down and they go public with it, that we can mitigate some of this stuff in the spiritual. That's our job as the army of God, is to blaze a trail in the spirit so that it doesn't manifest in the natural. So that's what I've been telling people we need to be praying for right now.